So you spent the last few months trying to build more muscle and strength, hoping to achieve an aesthetic physique and a level of confidence you've never had. But it's frustrating because every morning you see the same narrow-shouldered, skinny-armed, flat-chested guy in your reflection. You're confused because your muscles haven't been growing. Part of you loses hope, but deep down, you don't want to quit. And I've been there. I know exactly how you feel. Einstein once said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. But before you start typing into that search bar, only to make the same mistakes, you have two options. Number one, ignore what I'm about to say and get results at a snail's pace. Or watch this video, find one thing you resonate with and start applying that every day starting today. Building a physique you never knew was possible and the confidence you once dreamed of. Okay, mistake number one. And this is something a lot of us struggle with because no matter what we do, it always seems to die out, like a flame with no fuel, or the honeymoon phase in every relationship. Without it, we feel like we're riding a stationary bike. No matter how hard we ride, we end up nowhere. And you can force motivation in the gym simply by getting a training partner, but that doesn't usually last long, nor does it guarantee you'll actually get to the gym. And it's something I used to struggle with. Whenever my motivation was low, I would look up exercises for bigger biceps. But looking back, I realized that it really didn't get me anywhere. In fact, there's something far more effective than trying different exercises and tactics. The idea is to not rely on videos like this one to motivate us, but rather use it as a tool to figure out the next step to getting one step closer to your goals. And it's simply not enough to know what to do. And that's where this next one comes into play. They say if you improve 1% every day, in a year's time, you'll be 37 times better than when you started. A famous quote from the author of Atomic Habits. It may not seem like much of a difference, especially improving 1% every day. Like, how can you even measure that? The idea is to take action, and naturally you should improve a little bit each day. And it wasn't until I started working out, doing all these other hobbies like dancing, and that's when I started to notice I was getting a fraction better each time. Just start, and then stop when you want, because the hardest part is starting, and you'll try and talk yourself out of it, telling yourself, I'll do it later, but it never really happens. Then once you start, you'll find it's actually easier than you thought. Plus, for muscle building, I found recording my numbers on my phone highly motivating, especially seeing my numbers improve, indicating progress. And if I skip this step, I'd forget my numbers, losing motivation in the process. So simply document your lifts and improve 1% every day. One of the most popular workouts for the gym is a push-pull leg split, racking up millions of views and interest over the years. And the fact that it works every muscle in the body, allowing for sufficient rest between each workout. Like for each workout, you have about 3 days rest in between. But there's just one problem. Which one is the best? Perhaps the one with most views. And this is something I used to struggle with, and I know a lot of you do. Every 1 to 2 weeks, if you simply lift a heavier weight or more reps for the same weight, you can almost guarantee muscle gain. Kind of like what Greg Doucette would say.
Train harder than last time.
And of course, be consistent. So the next time you find yourself wondering what routine or split should I follow, step 1, pick one exercise for each muscle group. Step 2, do at least 2 to 3 sets for each muscle, ideally working each one 2 times a week. Step 3, aim to improve your numbers over time. And remember, keep it simple. But simple isn't always a solution. If you've ever been dedicated to the gym and you hate the idea of rest days, then there's something you might have experienced. Pain. Like pain in your wrist, in your shoulders, your elbow, and in your knees. And most guys won't know why. They'll think they're doing an exercise wrong. And that may be the case. But as an ex-personal trainer, 9 times out of 10, it's because they're working the same muscle too often. And without allowing enough rest between workouts. And the easiest thing you can do is listen to your body. Know when you're hurting and back off from working that same muscle group for at least a day. If you're lucky enough to be in tip-top shape, then perhaps you want to stay that way and attend every small pain as if it was your kid. You also don't want to ignore this next one, because it might be the solution to your future troubles. Rest. Hands down the single most important thing in life. After women, that is. But are you getting enough? Whether it's between sets, exercises, workouts, and in life. Because you may have realized that a lack of sleep affects your performance, your mood. And depending on your schedule and the job you work, it affects how you train. And as I say, stress is the biggest killer. So if you're stacking on too much physical, mental, or emotional stress, chances are you're at a greater risk of certain diseases, injuries, or even just falling ill for a week. And that's detrimental to your gain. So yes, do listen to your body, and yes, you will fail at this, just like I did and still do. As with muscle building, keep in mind the general rule. Rest 24 to 48 hours before working the same muscle group again. That way you can expect to make long-term sustainable gain you can actually keep. With that said, my next biggest mistake will help you master this skill and actually understand your body better than anyone else. And monks have done this for centuries, meditating, abstaining from sex, eating healthy plant-based meals, and training every single day. But the thing they do better than anyone else in the world is balance. Take a monk who's happier, less stressed, patient, and on the other extreme is the super stressed out individual who's allowed his life to get to this point where nothing is going right for them, racking up multiple credit card debts, blowing his life savings at the cash, living paycheck to paycheck. And we all know that any extremes of any kind mind is bad. Because if your goal is to live a long, happy and healthy life, then consider finding the midpoint in not just fitness, but also in every part of your life. And that's what I've been trying to figure out for myself and invested in barbell and weight. Because saving on travel time gives me more of a balanced lifestyle, which makes it far more sustainable, as well as making sure I'm working my left bicep as much as my right. So ask yourself, in what areas of your life can you apply this idea of balance, improving your life while still getting gains? And if you think more is more, then consider this. The statistics suggest the world generates over 2 billion tons of solid waste every year, and it's expected to increase by roughly 70% to 3.4 billion metric tons by 2050. So more is more doesn't actually apply here. If you say money, well, perhaps you haven't heard of the term more money, more problem. In the muscle building world, we discussed that if we work out too much too often, that can lead to pain and serious injuries. And that we need to find balance if we want long-term results. And ever since I got a girlfriend, worked full-time, I tried working out 5 to 6 times a week, but that didn't really work as well as it used to. Soon after, I discovered what burning out really felt like. Work was stressful, I needed to make time for the girlfriend, meal prep, and that's when I realized perhaps I'm doing too much. And luckily, Jeff Nippard recently came out with a minimalist workout video. I've also made my own Jeff-inspired workout down below. And you'll realize as you age, your goals and values change. Working out is no longer at the top of your list, and you find yourself wanting to free up time to put towards achieving bigger goals, like helping guys like you achieve your dream physique and hopefully change your life. And speaking of changing lives, this next one changed mine. 99% of fitness YouTubers won't talk about this because they know you want quick results. But the truth is, it's not about the best exercise to build your biceps or the best time to train. In fact, most guys fall into the trap of focusing on tactics, wanting quick gains, ending up at square number one. Instead, consider the average adult supposedly needing 8 hours sleep. But is this true? But what if you slept less, feel amazing, and accomplished more each day without affecting your performance in the gym? How would that change your life? And if you value those extra hours, then you want to avoid this mistake I used to make. Deciding the night before that you want to wake up early the next day to hit the gym, only to feel absolutely drained the next day. But the most important part is to make sure you're going to bed and getting up around the same time every day. That way your body knows exactly what's going on, and you'll be surprised as to how a lack of sleep can affect your gains in the long run. And since we're on the topic of avoiding nasty surprises, the internet is known for keyboard warriors, narcissists, hiding behind a screen, posting negative comments on everything they think is wrong. Haters be like, no wonder you're small, you need to do 10 to 20 sets per muscle per week to guarantee gains. Well, results speak for themselves. But perhaps we can be a little more open-minded. Do a quick Google search to get a different perspective. But if it helps, and this is what I try to do, avoid negative talk where possible and only allow people who actually support you into your circle, or consider it fuel to your fire. But really, at the end of the day, you become like the 5 people you surround yourself with. And if it works, it works. Which leads me to the next biggest mistake. Technique. And you may have noticed a ton of how to workout videos surfacing the internet ever since social was a thing. Like 10 different ways to bicep curl, which would actually confuse me if I was starting out. And most guys typically look for these videos to fuel their motivation, but really it's not as important as you may think, especially in comparison to the last 9 mistakes. And if you want an aesthetic physique for at least the next decade, I highly suggest you start by focusing on one of these 10 lessons, and once you've optimized that and you're happy, move on to the next and continue to make small changes over time, enjoying the process as you go. Because over time, you'll look back, whether in 12 months or 12 years, and you'll realize how far you've actually come and how powerful improving 1% every day can really be. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you want to look into minimalistic workouts, then click the link below or check out my last video. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do so, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, I'm all in. Brody on the line, I'm tapping in. Got out here pulling the strings for me. A girl on the line, she feeling me. Preoccupied by the motivation. Put in the time, pay the entry fee. Bro on the right, yeah, he